my accoutrement together, and then we will start. Greetings. Going to begin with getting the space properly cleansed. I wanted everybody to have a little bit of a soaker moment. This is a year when we have to remember to celebrate, right? We have to remember that there are things to celebrate, and we have to remember to celebrate them. So I keep myself centered and have kept myself centered with Soca vibes for this year. So I'm sharing those Soca vibes with you guys so that we can remember that we need to celebrate, right? There's still things to celebrate in this year. There's a lot, as a matter of fact, to be honest. But we're going to do us a little sage. I found this beautiful little tiny pot while I was in Tennessee, and I just love it. We're going to do us a little Palo Santo. With that big bumper. This is one of my favorites from this year. We're going to do a little copal for our First Nations ancestors. Who paid for that bum bum there? Gotta remember to celebrate, guys. Don't let anybody take you out of the mode of remembering their life is a place for celebration. So I did a little bit of sage, I did a little bit of Palo Santo, a little bit of Mexican copal, Aztec, Mayan, Incan copal, and there's a wonderful Indian company that I love called Kama. And this is a blend that they made for love and, what is it? Attraction. So we're going to use a little bit of that today. You want those sweet vibes of love. So let's get that going. All right. All right. Now, if I don't put this by a window, it's going to set off my smoke alarm. So if y'all give me a second to do that. Alright. Now, when we do divination from an Anago perspective, and this is Oso City on YouTube. If anybody wants this particular Soca mix, he's calling it Soca Mix 2020 and OSOCITY, Oso City. He has a lot of mixes on there, and they're pretty good and pretty uplifting. But in the Yoruba tradition, we do our divination on a mat. I'm going to use fabric as my mat today. And I divine with the Merindi Logun Oracle. Merindi Logun is the Yoruba word for 16. 16 is one of our mystical magical numbers in the Anago tradition, and it is also the number of calories that we use when we divine with this oracle. So that's why this is what I use. I'm going to be lighting some candles today, just as I did last year. So the candles I'm using this year are from my good sister Tammy at House of Armana. And she sent me some for my sun sign, my moon sign, and my rising sign. One of them I broke, so I won't be able to use it. But my sun sign is Scorpio, as you guys all know. These are her beautiful candles. We're going to light that one first. And then I think my rising sign is Gemini, but I'm not sure, guys. I don't keep up with it, to be honest. But this is her Gemini candle. Beautiful black wax. This is a black woman-owned business, House of Armana. And I'll put it in the chat in just a minute when I get everything lit. So we're going to be burning our Gemini. We're going to be burning our Scorpio. And then my sister at Holland Spices, the Herbal Sanctuary, made me an oil lamp. And I think I'm going to light that later. But I do want you guys to see how beautiful it is with all of the ingredients. And this one is the Star Goddess collection. This is the Goddess lamp. If I can get it open. I actually saved it for today. And she sent it to me, I want to say a couple of months ago. But it's full of oils that burn and spices and elements to bring a particular vibe. So we're going to try it. We're going to try it and see. So we have the wicks in here and the little things that the wicks float in. This is from Holland Spices and Spiritual Sanctuary. And I'll put House of Armana and Holland's information in the chat in case anybody wants to patronize. As always, you guys know how I do. I am always promoting and supporting the business of black women because we need the economic support the most. Across the board, we are still the people who are making the least. And so we need the economic support the most. But I also support the businesses of black women because I am a black woman with a business. And it is other black women who have always supported me and made sure that even before I had a business, it was always black women that made sure I had a place to live, beginning with my mother and my grandmother. It was always black women that made sure that me and my children did not starve in times of economic hardship, which is what we're in now, right? So now that I am not in a hardship, then I do my best every day and in everything that I do to make sure that I'm supporting other black women because that's who supports me. Okay, I'm gonna get my long handle lighter to try to light this lamp. We're gonna try. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And I don't know if I was supposed to soak the wick in the oil first. And as I'm watching it not light, I'm thinking that it lit, y'all. So I hope it remains okay. I don't know how oil burns. I grew up as a little girl with like kerosene lamps. I'm gonna put it over here because I want to keep an eye on this one. So I don't know how the oil burns or how I have to keep an eye on it. We're gonna put it in front of us just to be safe. So that is that. We're gonna pour our libation. It is now 2, and we will get started. Do a little extra Palo Santo just to be safe. And if my pot has started burning slower, I might bring him back over. Okay, I think he's to the point where we can bring him on back over. All right. So, I'm also wearing Rare Honey artwear. So let me put all the businesses in the chat for anybody who is interested, if that is at all possible. Let me get the name of my sister who made this lamp for me again. Highland Spices, the Herbal Sanctuary. Yes, Jamila, it's Rare Honey. And then your Zodiac candles are from House of Amana. So let's support our sisters. Let's make the world a place where sisters support each other. That's what I strive for each and every day, in every moment of the day. All right, we're going to see what thus saith Oshun about this upcoming year. Woo! I'm gonna get my Efun out, y'all. We're gonna get this tray cool with some Efun. So in the Anago tradition, we use Efun. Our Latino brothers and sisters call it cascarilla. It's the same. It is a clay that comes from the riverside, and it is a cooling element. So it is cooling for the body in an actual temperature fashion, but it is cooling as in it brings you down, right? It helps to keep your energy at peace, helps keep your energy balanced. And that's what we're seeking, right? That state of being is what our ancestors were always seeking. Iwa puele, right? Gentle character. Puele. Pueleo, that means gentle, right? So Efun is one of the things that helps you to achieve this. You put this on your ori and you use it on your tools to keep everything cool. As cool as you possibly can. So we're going to start with our libation. Put my Florida water in there yet. For I guess a couple of decades, I've been adding Florida water to the water that I use for libation because I want everything to be in a state of sweetness, exist in a state of sweetness. Omi tutu, omi tutu, omi tutu. Tutu ori, tutu emi, tutu aye, tutu laroye. Iba shalo dumare oba terere kaye, bati wo joy bati wo run, ba le agere afoko yeri, ba run la ileri ipini, ba igbaru no joko tun, ba igbaru no joko sin, ba kanle ni orin wo orumele, iba kora iba sheda, ba wani afinju eje, magjuba bogbo egoni dele membele se lo dumare ibaye orun, baye baye to run ba wan ba to nu. Iba luwo ba oru belo fatimishe, iba bono bokono men hoj kofi nu, ba pojito no chito reviso nu, iba yelo sheshango in yola, iba fado nu bo fo so vi. Ba she seleka iba ba sej ma de for me the first iba oba ade jubi ade for me the second. Iba fatai fabemro iba valeri fabemro, iba bogbo idele fabemro, iba bogbo idele amushan, iba agbo mola bi orisha. Iba Oyotunji Village, South Carolina, iba ile Ife, iba Olokomeji Village, Nigeria, iba Abeokuta, Nigeria. Ashe, 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 orisha kosi iku, kosi fetibo, kosi wahala, kosi ofo, fuma alafia, fuma ire, fuma iwapwele, fuma ori funfun, fuma obo, mushfunfunari, Jekiri mbe mi orisha mi, mushfunfunari, Jekiri obe mi orisha mi, ashe, ashe, ashe. All right, guys. We have found ourselves on the other side of 2020. We are here, right? We have made it. Let us pause and give praise and honor to those who moved on to the other realms during this year, during the past year. Let's give praise and honor to them. Let's pause and do that first. Many of us lost family members. Many of us lost spouses. Some of us may have lost children or close friends. So let us pause and honor them. And let us give them gratitude for moving into the spirit realm so that the physical realm will still remain livable for the rest of us. When spirits move into the spirit realm, then they give their essence remains in the physical realm so that the rest of us can still enjoy it. So let us pause and have a moment of gratitude for those spirits that chose in this year to move on. We are so grateful. Adupwe, Osheo, Opoeo, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. If you lost ancestors in this past year, please put their names in the chat so that we can give honor to them. And this is, it's been a year. That's all I will say. But we are giving praise and honor, and we are celebrating being here. That's why we started with our soka, with our bashment, right? We're celebrating being here. One of the things that we need to work on and that we have to work on is giving up European ways of viewing life. I know many of you were at the Hoodoo conference last night that Rishta Terra hosted. It was magnificent and it was so informative. I assisted with the first panel, and then for the rest of the evening, I continued to watch with my children, my 14-year-old, my 11-year-old, because the information that was given was so essential. And one of the things that we were reminded of during the Hoodoo conference was the fact that global white masculinist imperialism, which is what people choose to call white supremacy, global white masculinist imperialism, is an illusion. And it clouds the way that we see the world. So one of the things I want us to remember today, in this day and in this moment, is that life and death are connected, right? They are parts of the same journey. So that doesn't mean that we're not going to be sad. That doesn't mean that our feelings aren't going to be hurt. That certainly doesn't mean that we're not going to grieve and miss those who have moved on. But what I want us to remember in the midst of all of that is that it is a part of the journey. And we are all moving towards it, right? It is, and we will be able to continue to serve our families. We will be able to continue the work of fulfilling our destiny when we get to the other side. It's all part of the same journey. So let us embrace it and let us honor those who have taken that part of the journey for us. Ooh, so many names in the chat. All praise and honor. Iba'aracharum. We give praise and honor to all the citizens of the spirit realm who have moved into the spirit realm this year. Let us pause before we move on and give praise and honor to Obaluaye. This has been his year. This is still his year. Right? Obaluaye is the energy of pestilence, and that is what we are currently living in. And so we give praise and honor to Obaluaye, and we honor the work that he is doing. And we know that he is the king of the earth. That's what his name means, Obaluaye. And so we know that he knows what needs to be done to the earth to set it right. So we give praise and honor to Baba. We give praise and honor to his work. And we rest assured in the knowledge that he knows what is needed to set it right. I do pray Baba. All right, we're going to invoke Oshun. And we're going to see what she got to tell us about 2021, right? Yoruba mi ṣe ore ye Ọ̀ṣun. Yoruba mi ṣe ore ye Ọ̀ṣun. Adinindi, adinindi, Ọ̀ṣun ṣe gẹ̀ẹ́sì. Ọ̀ṣun mọ̀rẹ́ o, abẹ́ni àrọ́ abẹ́bẹ́ àrọ́ Ọ̀ṣun, oníkó ilá ilẹ̀ ẹ̀kẹ́, oníkó ilá ilẹ̀ yìí, yàmí kọ́ ìyẹ̀sùn, yẹ̀yẹ̀ káàrí wáyàrí ọ̀gá ọ̀la kò ṣe, ibú àyàrá jù bẹ̀yẹ̀, àṣẹ. I'm gonna grab my journal, guys. If you know me, then you know that I love a beautiful journal. And my daughter's boyfriend got me this lovely leather journal for this winter solstice time, these festivals of light. And so we're going to use it today as we divine. Give one more element. Okay, the first leg of our Odu is OD, ODI. Second leg of our Odu is Ogbe, OGBE. We are in Ibi in Osa Okbe. So we will have some sacrifices that we have to make this year. Some ebo and some offerings. And we'll ask about those in a little while. So we're in Ibi in Osa Okbe. OSA OGBE. The ruling deity of this year is Obatala. And he is ruling 2020 with Oya. 2021, sorry. So one of the offerings that we're going to have to make this year is writing and performing affirmations. And I'll come back to our offerings. And the other offering that we're going to have to make this year is an offering of fasting. So we should all complete a fasting program before March 21st, which is the actual New Year, right? So for Anago people and all African people and indigenous people, we know that nothing begins in the middle of the winter, right? Nothing begins in December and January is too cold. Even here in Florida, this is not a time of beginning. This is a time of resting. We are moving with the vibration of this place that we are in when we refer to this as the new year. But this is actually the time for festivals of light to remind our psyches and our spirits that the light is returning. Okay? However, from our ancestral perspective, the year begins on March 21st. So Oshun is telling us that we all need to complete some sort of fasting program before March 21st. So choose the one that works for you. Some of us do Master Cleanse. Some of us do Queen Afua's fasting. Some of us may do the ones from the guy, I think his name is D Herbs. Whatever fasting program works for you. My brother has one coming out of Help. Healing Earth Life Products. That's my brother, my literal brother in Barbados. He creates products for a fasting program. So whichever one that you feel moved to utilize, make sure that you complete a fasting program by March 21st. And those are the ways for us to remove this EB. All right, so let's move into this Odu. Let's get an understanding of what we are looking at this year. So the first Odu, the first leg of our Odu is OD. When we see OD, then we know that we are dealing with ancestral energy and we are dealing with light energy. So everything in the universe is always seeking balance. So there is energy of light. That's the energy of the daytime. That's the energy of the summer. And then there's the energy of darkness. OD is an Odu that speaks about the energy of light. All right? So do not allow your mind to go into the connotations of light and darkness that we have been taught by racism. That's not what any of this is talking about. We're talking literally about light as in sun, and then darkness as in when the sun isn't shining on our side of the globe. That's what we're referring to. So OD is an Odu that speaks of light and the essential nature of light. So as we move into this new year, one of the things that we must remember is our status as beings who bring light, right? When you are a being that brings light, and we all bring light sometimes and we all bring darkness sometimes. This year we're bringing light. We're moving in light. You're a being that brings light that is sometimes perceived as problematic, right? There are people who love it. There are people who adore light and sunshine and warmth and brightness. And there are people who prefer darker spaces and cooler spaces and not so much brightness. And that's normal and that's natural for whoever has those preferences. However, what OD reminds you is for you to be comfortable moving in your light. What does that mean? That means be comfortable with being seen. That means be comfortable with being heard. That means move out of the state of wishing for invisibility, right? Move into the state of being visible and stop being afraid of being visible. Stop listening to or internalizing or swallowing anything that is telling you that you are unworthy of being seen and heard. Don't listen to anything like that. We need to see you. We need to hear you. We're all here together. This is not accidental. This is not coincidental. We chose before we were born to be here together on this day doing this. So this message is for you. Don't say, that Oshun talking to somebody else in that part. She ain't. She talking to you. We need to see you, please. We need to hear you. What you bring to the table, we all require. That's why we decided to be here at the same time. Because each of the gifts that we bring, we all require. As long as we consent to remain invisible, then there is a little girl somewhere who looks just like you, who does not believe that people like her are important. There is a 20-year-old non-gender conforming person who doesn't see their reflection anywhere on the internet, anywhere on Instagram, anywhere on YouTube. And so they believe that they don't belong, right? There is a 45-year-old black woman who's been married and divorced, and she doesn't see her reflection anywhere. So she doesn't think that she matters anymore. That's how important it is for you to be seen and heard. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever walk outside of it. Embrace the fact that you don't look like what global white masculine imperialism deems beautiful. Embrace that and let that be what you put up in the camera, right? Embrace the fact that that's not what your body looks like. Embrace the fact that that's not what your hair looks like. Embrace the fact that that's not what your voice sounds like, or your accent, or your dialect. Embrace it and give it to us. We need it. We require it. It is food for us, right? This is what OD is saying. It's what Oshun is telling us. Don't sink into invisibility. Stop being invisible. And I'm going to tell you that whoever you were being invisible for, they ain't paying no attention no way. Anybody who has required you in your life to be invisible is someone who feeds off of your energy. That's a vampire. Anybody in your life who silences you, that's a vampire. People who love you say, get out there, be in the front, show them what you got. Okay, and that's what OD reminds us. Show them what you got, exactly what you got, exactly as it is, right? Exactly as it is there today. Don't wait till you get the abs perfectly right. Don't wait till you done figured out how to lift the middle-aged breasts up so that people not seeing it in the video. Don't wait for none of that. Don't wait till you have the perfect haircut and the color that's making the gray look just right. Don't wait for none of that. Come on, just as you are right now is what we need to see. Stop being invisible. Be visible for us. We need you. We're waiting for you. We agreed to do this for each other. So please come be visible for us. All right? Oh, that's OD. OD reminds you that when you stop hiding your light, that you will encounter, and you have already encountered from the time that you were born, the energy of envy. The energy of envy is tricky. It is an energy that is sent towards you, sometimes even from people who love you. We are raised in a society, we live in a society, and we move in such a way that people believe in scarcity. People believe that there's only enough for one. And so when they see one black woman shining, then they think, oh, then there's not enough room for me to shine too. Right? They think, well, if she's shining so bright, then her shine is going to mean that people don't see me. And that's the society that we were raised in. Nobody arrives on earth believing that. Everybody arrives on earth knowing that we are a communal collective. That's what we are, right? But Western society teaches us that we are not a communal collective. Western society teaches us that we are individuals and that there's only enough for some. And that's because Western society was created in the Ice Age, where there literally was a lot of scarcity. We're not from there, okay? We from the tropics. There is lush and abundant. We have a lush, abundant mindset because that's where we are. That's where we're from. That's what lives inside us. So nix, let go. Stop thinking any belief that makes you think that you are in competition with somebody else. That because that person is shining, don't nobody see your shine. That because that person is at the front, you are at the back. That's not what none of that means. Right? And that is that energy of envy. So we have to let go of any sort of envy that we feel within ourselves. And we have to not internalize any envy that anyone outside of us is feeling for us. This Odu speaks of the energy of envy and the need to protect yourself from it. So when we rise in the morning this year, let us make sure that we remember to say our morning prayers. However your morning prayers go, whoever you pray to, however your spiritual leader has taught you to pray. When you rise in the morning, say your morning prayers. And one of the things that you want to ask to be protected from is the energy of envy. Ask that for yourself and for your children. Those are the people that you're responsible for. Or if you have aging parents, okay? The only people you can be responsible, whose spiritual welfare you are responsible for, are children and aging parents. You are not responsible for the spiritual welfare of any other human beings, okay? Pray for protection from envy. But in the process of praying for protection from envy, also always remember to check it when you feel it in yourself. Also always remember to distance yourself from those who are envious of you. Don't try to create relationships with people who exist in that energy of envy. Don't try to create long-term important relationships, is what I'm saying, with people who exist in that energy of envy, with people who cannot feel congratulatory about your success, feel congratulatory about the goals that you reach in life. With people who cannot do that, don't create long-term connections from them. They are lost in a Western erroneous delusional mentality. So don't create connections with them. Create connections with people who can uplift you and who are happy to see you do well, and for whom you can be happy as well. And anytime you feel that energy of envy within yourself, check it. Ask yourself, what part of your own destiny are you not working on fulfilling? The only time you can feel envious of somebody else is when you are not working on fulfilling a specific part of your destiny. So ask yourself, what part of my destiny am I not working on fulfilling? When you begin to feel envious. And then go and work on that. Right? Don't sit in that envy. Don't sit in that jealousy. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing. Worry about what you're doing. Worry about what you achieving. Everybody else doing what they doing. You look at you. Keep your eyes, as my friend Lakeisha Parks Broom is fond of saying, keep your eyes on your own paper in destiny. Right? Work on yourself. All right. So that is OD. The second leg of our Odu for this year is Ogbe. When you see Ogbe, this is how we know that it is important this year for us to fast. So Ogbe is one of the Odu of purging. It is one of the Odu of letting go. And so we know, because we have lived through 2020, that we are in an era of purging, right? We can see that that's what is happening. Many things are being purged, right? Lives are being purged. Belief systems are being purged. Ways of viewing things, points of view, perspective. Many things are being purged, discarded, thrown away, understood to be useless. Right? That is what is happening right now. And so Ogbe reminds us of our own personal responsibility to purge those things that are useless to us. Right? So what that means, what I always tell people, if you have gotten a divination from me and Ogbe came up as one of your Odu, then what I tell you to purge first, if you are a non-man, is your closet. So we have a lot of attachment to our clothes, right? I love clothes. Y'all know it. I love nice clothes. I love pretty clothes. I love unusual clothes. So purge your closet first. Start there. Start with the hardest thing. And the stuff that you can't fit no more, if you can't fit it today, purge it. Right? The stuff that you ain't never wore, you waiting for a ball to happen to wear it, purge it. Start with your closet first. After you have purged your closet, purge your home. Right? It's some stuff in our home we don't need. Right? It's a chair that you don't ever sit in. It's a rug that's rolled up under your couch. This is me personally. That you decided didn't really work in your living room. You bought a whole nother rug. You got a whole beautiful rug rolled up under your couch. Right? There are curtains that you don't use. This is me. I'm talking about myself. There's curtains in your storage closet that you don't even use because you decided that color scheme wasn't going to work for you. So purge your closet first. Then purge your home. My preference is when I purge my closet and purge my home, I give those things to sisters in domestic violence shelters. That's my own personal preference. You give to whatever charity moves you. in your soul. I encourage you to give to charities that represent you. I encourage black women, black non-men to give to charities where that's who's in there, right? And that's who's going to be elevated by what you're giving, because it should feel as though you are giving it to yourself in a moment in which you needed it, right? I was able to roll that rug up and put it under the couch and buy a new rug, but there were times when I needed that rug and I didn't have it. So what I try to do is go and find that time of me and give that rug to that person. That's how I look at it. So, purge, give away, give it to people who need it. If you got a text group, ask them first. You don't know, they might need it, they might want it. Sometimes I take a picture of the stuff that I got in my closet and be like, anybody want this? Because if you don't want, I'm about to give it to Goodwill. And especially those of us who wear African clothes, ask your friends first. They might want it, right? African clothes are expensive and they are rare in the United States. So ask your friends first about your African clothes, but purge, get rid of those things. So now to the hard part. So after you've purged your closet, which I know is hard, and after you've purged your home, then for me, it is always easier at that point to purge your body. Okay? You have to purge your body. I'm from the country. Y'all probably hear me say this every year. I probably have to say this every year and remind people. People be having a whole lot of ideas about where I'm from. That's hilarious to me. But they have done that since I was young. I don't know why. But I'm from the country. I'm born and raised in a small town that probably ain't even on no map, called Columbia, Tennessee. And I'm old. I'm 51. So when I was a child, purging was the norm. Purging is a part of hoodoo. So what I'm going to do per my hoodoo conference last night is I'm going to make sure and use the term hoodoo more so that we can get a clear understanding of what we're talking about. Purging is a part of hoodoo. And by hoodoo, I mean African diasporic culture, specifically African American culture. Purging is a part of our culture. So if your grandmother was from the South, and more than likely she was, then every winter you were given a purgative, right? You were given a laxative. You were given something to clean your system out. If your grandmother was from the South and very rigorous, like my grandmother, then you may do a purge every week. You may have a day of the week that you just purged your body. And this is African, right? It has become hoodoo now that we are here, and that still means African. That's just our way of doing an African thing, right? But when I was in Nigeria and we were staying at my sister's house, and we were buying a lot of processed foods. When we would go to the market, we were used to buying processed foods. We were buying sodas, which, generally I don't usually drink, but hey, I was on vacation, so I was drinking them in Nigeria. We were buying the fried foods that the House of People sold in the market. And we would buy like popcorn and stuff, and we were out, we would just buy stuff. And so when we would come back to the house, or if we had taken the children with us, then the children would be eating the processed food with us and drinking the sodas and all of this kind of stuff. And so my sister, at one point, I saw her every week giving something to the children. And I asked her what it was, and she said it was a purgative. It was bitters to clean that processed food out of their system. So when I was in Nigeria, I saw them doing what I grew up watching my grandmother do, which was purging every week. So purging is a part of our culture, you guys. Getting rid of junk inside your body. Getting rid of, the Odu calls it the dirt in your stomach. Getting rid of that is normal for us. All right? So this is a year for us to make sure that we are keeping the inside of our bodies clean. This is part of the foundational understanding of Oboluaye. So I'm not surprised, because we're in his time, right? He's still doing his thing. And so part of what Oboluaye comes to remind us is that we have made the earth very dirty, and that we have made the inside of our body very dirty. That's part of what Oboluaye reminds us. So I'm not surprised that we're getting Ogbe in this particular reading of the year with a reminder to clean the inside of your body. You will have to find the timeline that works for you. Right? I do a big cleanse 4 times a year. Y'all know, if y'all been following me on YouTube, y'all know that's just what I do. That's the timeline that works for me. But I also have to follow a very rigorous diet. So I don't do once a year. I do a winter cleanse, but I don't do once a week like my grandmother did, but I do a cleanse in the winter like I was raised to do. So please make sure that you are keeping the inside of your body clean, your gut, your intestines, right? You have to keep this clean. Medical people, 90 something percent of your immune system is your intestines, is your gut. So if you are not keeping your gut clean, then you are not healthy. Your immune system is shot. We used to call it back in the country, your resistance is low. And what that means is your ability to resist disease is low when your colon is not clean. So what Og Bay is reminding us is to clean our homes, clean our closets, clean our cars too. That just came to my order because I need to clean mine, and clean your body. This is a year for cleaning your body. So, and we must fast before March 21st. That's what has been prescribed. That's what has been said. So we really need to pay attention to the need to clean our body. And we really need to take that seriously. Now, I am well aware that many times when people are cleaning out their stomach, when people are cleaning out their intestine, that many times people take this as a way of losing weight. And many times when you do it, you will lose weight. However, Oshun ain't talking about no losing weight. Okay? If you happen to lose weight as a result of cleaning your body, then that is what has happened, but that ain't what we talking about, right? What we are talking about is keeping your intestines clean, is minding your internal hygiene. This is how you stay well. You can find, no, it's not a dumb question. Find a regime that works for you. What I'll do, guys, is after this, I'll try to do it this afternoon. If I don't remember to do it, somebody shoot me a text, people who have my number, and remind me. But what I will try to do is put up the different cleanses that I use. There's different cleanses that you can use, and you have to pay attention to your body to know what works for you. The one that I recommend the most strongly, and the one that I use whenever my children get sick, when my children become actually sick with something that I think I may have to take them to a Western doctor for, the first thing that we always do is the Healing Earth Life Product 14-day detox. And there is one for male bodies. There's one made for female bodies. That's how those are packaged, because they have specific herbs that deal with those specific hormones. So that is the cleanse that I use. That is my preferred cleanse, and that's what I use for my children when they become ill, and have done so for the past 15 years. And so that's going to be what I'm going to suggest and recommend, because I've done it and I continue to do it. So that's the one that I recommend. As far as a fast, which means actually not eating solid food, if you're able to do that. If you have health concerns that mean that you have to eat solid food, then you'll have to modify it and do more of a detox where you're not eating processed things. If you can stop eating solid foods as far as a fast, I find that the fast that Queen Afua created in Sacred Woman and in City of Wellness, I find those two fasts to be very useful. Sacred Woman is, of course, geared toward people within a female body, a body that is estrogen dominant. And City of Wellness is geared toward anyone. So if your body is not estrogen dominant, then you may want to utilize City of Wellness. That's my personal recommendation because I have used them. If your body is estrogen dominant, then you would want to use Sacred Woman as your fast. Now, when you are purging, when you are detoxing, which is different from fasting, then I recommend Healing Earth Life products, which comes with the herbs and which comes with the fasting instructions inside it. All right, so that's one of the things that we are doing in Og Bay, is we are fasting. Og Bay is the Odu that reminds us of the necessity of having su'uru. Su'uru ni babawa. right? So Uru is the father of good character. So Uru ni baba wa. Let that be our mantra for this year. So Uru is the father of good character, right? Good character, remember as we said, according to our ancestors, is gentle character. It is a calm demeanor. It is the ability to face obstacles and blockages and altercations in a calm state. Doesn't mean you're not doing anything. It doesn't mean you're not handling your business. It doesn't mean that you're not protecting yourself. It doesn't mean that you're not taking care of what needs to be taken care of. It means that you do not allow yourself to become overly emotional in situations where that is not necessary. All right? Su'uru ni baba wa. Right? Su'uru is the father of good character. And it is good character that allows the rope of life to remain unbroken in one's hand. So this year, we are cultivating su'uru. We are facing adversities as sweetly and as peacefully as we possibly can. Right? It doesn't mean we're not facing them. It doesn't mean we are ignoring them. It doesn't mean that we are repressing our emotions or doing anything of that nature. But what it means is, if it is not right up here in your face affecting you and your children, then you handle it as peacefully as you possibly can. Right? You don't even get your emotions involved. Come on, guys. If there's one thing that we have learned this year, what we have learned is that this physical body is a delicate vessel. It is very delicate. We may be working out and working hard to elevate and increase the strength and power that it has. But in its natural state and in the state that it is always going to exist in, it is a delicate vessel. And so what our ancestors taught us in the Anago tradition is that when you allow yourself to get worked up and in high emotions, you are damaging your vessel. You are damaging your physical body. Right? And so we seek, as African people, we seek su'uru. We seek, thank you so much, Ash Johns. We seek to remain as often as we possibly can in peace. I'm going to talk about this. Let me go in depth in this because this is a part of my personality that I think that people have a tendency to misunderstand and to find problematic. So, oh Lord. If I say a country phrase that y'all don't understand, somebody ask me about it in the chat. But I am what we call growing up high strung. Right? And what that means is I'm highly emotional. I'm a very emotional person. That is probably my natural state of being. However, due to the hoodoo lifestyle that I was raised in, I was taught to express my emotions in a way that wasn't calamitous. Right? That's un-African. That's un-Native American. And brown people don't do that. Right? We don't be out here all that hooping and hollering and we don't do. You do that when it's necessary. Right? If somebody's coming for your child, somebody's coming for you, something like that, then you act out, you act a fool or whatever. But just on a normal circumstance, it's damaging. It's damaging to the relationship that you have with others. It's damaging to any relationship that you have with a lover or a spouse or your children. That's damaging. So you don't interact with people like that. One of the things that colonizers used to say when they gathered Africans up, when they took our ancestors into enslavement, was that we could shut our face like a door. You'll find it repeated in the Toni Morrison novel, Song of Solomon. That you know how African a person is because they can close their whole face like a door. And you won't even know what they're thinking. right? I could be falling apart in my mind, but it's not none of your business that that's what's happening. So I'm not going to let it show on my face. I'm not going to be out here hooping, hollering, yelling, acting a fool. You're not going to see that. That's a cultivation of a way of being. Su'uru. We are seeking it. We are not repressing our emotions, but we are internally processing them. Okay, this seems to have made me angry. Why am I angry about this? Am I angry about what's actually going on? Is this triggering something from the past? Or is this actual thing an affront to me and something that I should be angry about? Su'uru. Process it internally and then give a reaction still from a point of su'uru. Su'uru is a place of power. Our grandmothers taught us how to be this way. Our mothers taught us how to be this way because it is a place of power. My mother grew up in a segregated Cleveland. My mother was born in a segregated Memphis. My mother moved from Cleveland to a segregated Columbia, Tennessee, where she gave birth to all 7 of her black babies. So every day, somebody was going to be coming at my mother with some bullshit, right? Every day somebody's coming at us with bullshit. If when somebody comes and presents you with bullshit, you're able to say, that appears to be bullshit. Who holds the power? Who's holding the power in that situation? But if somebody presents you with bullshit and you gotta say, why you bringing me this bullshit? And the person who brought the bullshit ain't did nothing but brought you the bullshit, who's holding the power in that situation? The person who brought the bullshit. But if when they bring the bullshit to your door, you say, that appears to be bullshit. I'm going to need you to remove that from my presence. You hold the power. This is why we were raised this way. This is why our mothers and our grandmothers raised us this way. That is a point of power, especially in a society that is hell-bent on oppressing you. You know that the bullshit is coming every day. Every day I sign in the Zoom, and I'm the only of 2, it's 2 black professors and 2 black teachers, instructors in my department. I know the bullshit is coming every day. Right? It's coming every day. That's the world that we live in. And so if every time I got an email that was out of line, or a student said some shit that was out of line, or a department head said some shit that was out of line, if every time that happened, I had to fly into a rage, I would be dead. And that's just the truth of that. I would be dead. My body cannot handle that. This is one of the reasons that I'm 51 years old and I'm not on any sort of medication. I do not have to regulate my blood pressure. I do not have to regulate any part of my body because I stay in su'uru. If it does not directly affect me and these people that I pushed out of my body, then I'm not going to worry my head about it. And I certainly am not going to have a big, huge reaction about it. Su'uru. Su'uru ni babawa. Right? Let that be our mantra for this year. Let us be seeking su'uru. Let us remember how our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and our mothers and our grandfathers, especially, them grandfathers had a su'uru that's unsurpassed, right? Them grandfathers was just gonna sit on that rocking chair on that porch. That's all they was gonna do, unless somebody came in their yard. Then they was gonna quietly go get that gun. It was gonna be quiet too. You wasn't even knowing they was going to get the gun, right? That's how the grandfathers acted where I'm from, right? And the grandfather would sit on the porch, and we would be outside playing. You be outside playing in the yard. And he ain't said nothing. He ain't said shit. People be like, your granddaddy mean. Because them granddaddies didn't talk, right? The ancestral fathers, they wasn't about all that mouth running and jibber jabber, right? Ancestral fathers was just going to sit on the porch. And you going to think he wasn't even looking at you. He stand off into the distance. At home, our grandfathers used to whittle. They would be whittling stuff. And that might be a country term. What that means is to use your pocket knife to carve small objects out of wood. So our grandfathers used to whittle. They'd be on the porch whittling. You know, sometimes my great uncle would be on the porch shaving. That's how deep in the country I'm from. You didn't shave in the house. We didn't have no air conditioning. You didn't shave in the house. You shaved outside with your mirror. Like that part in Color Purple, to y'all that was entertainment. She was outside fixing to shave Mister. That's how people shaved where I was from. You brought your little thing out. You sharpen your straight razor and you shave. That's how my great uncle shaved. So they didn't have a lot to say, right? They didn't talk a lot. But let them hear somebody saying something to you all the way around the corner that was unsaid, that was out of pocket, that they shouldn't say. Them granddaddies was gonna call so and so. You knew they had heard it. Let the wrong person come up in their yard. Them granddaddies was gonna go get that gun. They was gonna go get that shotgun. Right? We all have stories of our grandfathers protecting our property from racist terrorist acts, right? Those same calm, sweet, not talking grandfathers, right? So su'uru is how we maintain a sweet existence in this place. The same tool that we used to maintain a sweet existence in ancient Yoruba land, in ancient Nago land, right? Same tool. Su'uru ni babawa. Remember that. Say it to yourself. Everything isn't a reason to get upset. Most things aren't a reason to get upset. If it's not affecting me, my mother used to say, if it's not your name I see on my paycheck, on that signed part of my paycheck, then I don't give a damn what you think or what you say. And it's as simple as that. And I don't give a damn what them people think, to be honest, between me and y'all and this laptop, right? But if it is not personally affecting you, then do not allow it to take you outside of your calm character. When we think about being ladies and being gentlemen, we attribute that to a European way of thinking. But chivalry was created by Africans. Good manners is what our ancestors taught the colonizers once we were here and when we were teaching them in Europe, when we were taking over Europe. Manners and being able to handle yourself in a calm fashion is an African reality. All of that emoting and acting out when it is unnecessary, that's not us. We don't do that. That to us is barbaric. All right? So su'uru. So the 3 F's, ain't that it? Ain't that it? And sometimes who I'm sleeping with ain't gonna make that much difference either, because sometimes they just are hard times, boo. But cultivate that African way of thinking and that African way of being. And so also be aware of people around you and act in a way that lets other people maintain their su'uru. Right? Don't rile up your children. Don't rile up your good friends. Don't rile up your lovers. Rile up, I don't know if this is a country term, but don't incite deep emotional reactions in people if it is not necessary. Right? When you're speaking with your children, speak to them sweetly and calmly. Talk to them in a way that they feel comfortable talking back to you. Don't incite an emotional reaction from them. Okay? Stop seeing emotional reactions as something that means that somebody is listening or that somebody very much cares. Don't do that with your spouse. Now, if you're in a relationship where the person is an asshole, don't go nowhere and stay in that relationship and try to say, well, the reading of you said I'm supposed to act in su'uru. That is not what we talking about. So don't quote this part of what I'm about to say and try to claim I told you to stay somewhere where you was being mistreated, because that's not what I'm talking about. But if you have a spouse and you all have an actual loving relationship, then work to speak sweetly and kindly to this person. Right? Don't incite big emotions in people when it's not necessary. If you have co-workers that you can speak sweetly and calmly to, then do so. Your sister friends, your close brother friends, the people that you consider to be close, your extended family. Speak sweetly and kindly. So maintain your own su'uru, but also try to create an environment where people around you can maintain their su'uru, right? Don't be out here acting a damn fool, and then when somebody come and hit you across the head with a 2x4, be talking about, I thought they was maintaining su'uru. You created a situation where they could not. Maintain yours and work on maintaining a space where everyone can have theirs. Su'uru ni baba wa. Su'uru is the father of good character. And it allows the rope of life to remain unbroken in our hand, and that's what we want, right? That's part of what we are working for in this year. And we are remembering that this vessel is delicate. And all of those crazy high-level emotions are harmful to this vessel. You can ask any of these healthcare people that's in this thing, and they can give you 30 diseases right off that are caused by stress, by stressing the body with high-level emotions. They can do it right now, right off the top of their head. So work to not be in those high-level emotions. Now, don't misunderstand me. Emotions are not bad, right? Emoting and feeling is not bad. Allowing yourself to be pulled into deep emotions when in things that are not connected to you is hard on your body. Okay? So I'm not saying not to emote. I'm not saying don't emote. I am saying try your best to keep your emotional state calm and peaceful. Right? And it's also effective because they ain't never gonna see you coming. They ain't gonna see you coming. Don't nobody expect a calm and sweet person to hit them upside their head with a 2x4. They don't expect that, right? So you also gonna be more effective at whatever solution that you gotta take to a thing. Because people gonna think, oh, she ain't gonna do nothing. Oh, he ain't gonna do nothing. Oh, they ain't gonna do nothing. That's what people are thinking when you walk in su'uru. And so when you come around, hit them with that left hook, they stun. And it hits better and it hits harder. That's important too. Okay, so remember that this year we are in EB. And what EB means is there are obstacles and blockages to us fulfilling our destiny. And so the way that Oshun has given us to remove those obstacles and blockages is the two things that we just talked about. The one thing we just talked about, which is maintaining your internal cleanliness, maintaining your internal hygiene, keeping your gut clean, right? And the second thing that she said for us to do is to write and say our affirmations. So this has to do with the power of your spoken word and the power that you use when you speak to create things. The Odu says the trap set by your mouth never fails to catch its prey. The Odu says, may my mouth not make me enemies. May what I say not cause problems for me. All right. So this year, one of the way that we're going to remove the obstacles that we are experiencing is by properly using our Ofo Ashe, the power of our spoken word. We are going to use this in affirmations. We are going to use this in incantations. Write out you some affirmations. What are you working towards this year? What are your goals this year? What are the things that you're trying to achieve this year? Write them down and say them. Right? Put a date on it. By this date, I will have this. By this date, this will be the case. See it. Smell it. Taste it. When you do get that house, what outfit are you going to wear the first day you come downstairs and go in your new kitchen? Right? Visualize it. When you do get that car, what's the first place you going to floss in your new whip, right? When you do get that new outfit, you know, what pose are you going to do on your Instagram stories, right? Visualize it, write it down, and say it. Speak it into existence. Let us as Africans not ever forget the power of the word, of the spoken word. We still remain a highly oral people. Why is the oral way of relating information and living life so essential to us? Because we knew the power of the spoken word, Remember how our grandmothers didn't ever let us call nobody a liar? Remember how your grandmother would come rushing out that door and beat your butt or hit you in the mouth if you was calling somebody a liar? Power of the spoken word. Remember how you wasn't allowed to call nobody a fool? Power of the spoken word. Remember how you wasn't allowed to speak ill of people who were differently able? Or people whose mental issues had gotten the best of them? Or people who were poorer than you guys were? You wasn't allowed in my grandmother's house to speak ill of them. This is our hoodoo. This is our culture. This is who we are as diasporic Africans. We don't do that. We don't speak ill of people who are differently able. We don't speak ill of people whose lifestyle is different from ours, who are poorer than us. We don't speak ill of people whose mental issues have gotten the better. We don't speak ill of them. That is our culture. That's what all of this is about. It's about your ofo ashe, the power of your spoken word. My grandmother used to say that what you speak wrong of somebody today is going to be you tomorrow. And she was right. She was right. So careful of what you speak, right? But also remember that you're being careful of what you speak because you have the power to speak it into being. Speak into being what you want. I am going to have that so-and-so house. I'm going to have that so-and-so car. How in the hell do you think that our grandparents kept our mothers and fathers alive? Can we be honest about the fact that it's impossible to live in this place? We're living impossibilities. Can we be honest about that? This is impossible. What we are doing, just existing, is impossible. This ain't possible. Nobody can exist under this level of stress, under these types of horrible economic conditions, under this type of oppression. And this is, goddamn it, 2021. But our grandmothers did that shit in 1830. How did they do it? They spoke into existence what they wanted. And they waited and allowed it to manifest. This Odu is reminding you to do the same. It is always within your power to have. Speak it into existence. Speak it into existence. It cannot fail. It does not fail. Speak it into existence this year. By the same token, do not be out here speaking what you don't want. Do not be out here talking over much about shit that's negative. Do not be over here talking over much about problems in your life. Do not be over here talking over much about the shit that's happening that you ain't with, that you wish wasn't there. Don't talk over much about that. Don't give the power of your spoken word to that. Don't even remember we practicing Suuru, so we ain't even really giving that the time of day. Because we don't want to get emotionally tied up in that shit. Right? So use the power of your spoken word wisely. Use it wisely and use it every day. Every day. Most of us, when we got up in the morning, it was to the prayers of our grandmothers. Right? Oh Lord, thank you for not letting my bed become my cooling board and my sheet, my swaddling cloth. That's what I woke up to every morning. And we could hear it all throughout the house. Right? Before she even got out of the bed, that's what she was speaking. Right? And we all heard it. And between that and the crowing of the rooster, that's how you know it was time to get up. When you heard Nanny, that's what we used to call our grandmother. When you heard, and that's an African word, that's a Ghanaian term. When you heard Nanny say, "Oh Lord, thank you for not letting my bed be my cooling board and my sheet, my swaddling cloth," right? Oh, it's time to get up, right? That's an affirmation of the day. That's an affirmation of excitement to still be alive. Everybody didn't wake up. My grandmothers used to say that everybody didn't wake up this morning. And some people that woke up this morning didn't wake up in their right mind. Right? Your grandmother remind you, I ain't the only one who had this grandmama. Everybody on here had this grandmama. Right? This It's spoken word, the power of the spoken word, and it's African. So in the Anago compound, the Iyale, the mother of the house, woke everyone up by saying an Oriki. And the Oriki is recounting the wonders about you. Oh, you were born on this day, and we knew that you would achieve the so and so. Oh, you carry the name of great ancestor, so and so, so and so. I have one Nigerian friend, she would say that even when she calls home, her grandmother, when she answers the phone, answers it by speaking her Oriki. Right? So that's the power of the spoken word. Our grandmothers, had transformed that into that thing that they would say when they rose up that let the rest of us know it was time to get up. And we have to remember to do that. Speak Oriki over yourself when you rise, right? Speak Oriki over your children and aging parents if you are responsible for them. Speak Oriki, speak goodness, speak health, speak gratitude for being here. Use your Ofo Ashe every day. Do not forget that your words have power. If you have given birth, then your words have even more power. If you are someone who is estrogen dominant, then your words carry a certain type of power that is intense and deep. So be aware of the power. But everybody, that ain't excusing people who ain't estrogen dominant. Everybody's words have power. But I'm saying that specifically mothers and parents need to be careful of what you speak. Okay? Not just over your children, but in your house. What you speaking in your house? What type of vibration are your words creating in your house? What type of vibration are your words creating in your family unit? Be careful of what you speak all the time, no matter where you are. And so this still goes back to Su'uru, right? If you're maintaining a calmness and a peace, and if you are mostly processing things internally to see if it's even something worth speaking about. Some shit ain't even worth speaking about. Some shit is so inconsequential that it ain't even worth speaking about. I give praise and honor to people who know when shit ain't even worth speaking about. I love it. I love to see it. I ain't even got no lie to tell. I ain't even say shit about that. Right? People be waiting for you to say something and you talk about something else. Some shit ain't even worth speaking about. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's the truth of maintaining your su'uru. But the things that are worth speaking about, speak into being what you want. Speak into being what you need. Right? And what you expect to have. Speak power and love and prosperity and the reaching of goals over your children every day. And anybody that you're responsible for. Speak that over them. Chant Oriki, right? We may have lost to a certain extent the Anago words, right? But we remember that beautiful cadence that our grandmothers had, right? To that beautiful prayer, that moaning prayer when they got up in the morning. That's Oriki. That's a chant, and Oriki is a chant. Bring that on back. Let's not let that be lost. Let's not let that be something that falls to the wayside. This is our culture. So remember, this is what the other thing, in addition to our fasting and our internal cleansing, that's going to bring us to a state of getting past these obstacles this year is speaking properly. The power of your spoken word. All right. The ruling deities for this year, Obatala and Oya. Whew, we're going to take a drink on that. And anybody who knows me know that I can't drink worth a damn. And so that's some sparkling water and some fresh squeezed orange and strawberry juice. Me and one of my good friends decided that I probably drank too much grain alcohol in undergrad. And my liver now just can't stand no alcohol at all. Because y'all know I can't drink worth a damn. But Obatala is our head ruling deity this year. All praises. Hepa, 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 baba me. That is my father Orisha. Obatala is the epitome of the ancestral fathers. So that energy that we were speaking of, that we remember from our grandfathers and our friends' grandfathers, that is the energy that we're walking in. That is the energy that's going to protect us and that is going to keep us safe and well in this year. Is that cool, calm, peaceful granddaddy energy, right? That still waters run deep, right? That don't be letting everybody know what's going on in your mind. That powerful poker face. Can't nobody read you at all, right? It's a kind of detached energy. Some people have read it as aloof, right? That's the energy that's going to guide us and assist us in this year. Look at my daughter is laughing at me on her. She talking about I ain't even got no real drink to be drinking. So this is the energy that we're going to walk in. This is the energy that we're going to wrap ourselves in. So as far as colors are concerned, our colors that are going to keep us safe and well and protected this year. If you know you're walking into a situation that may be an altercation or some kind of, clash is about to happen, wear your white. That is what Obatala means, king of the white cloth, right? So wear your white this year. Keep your white on. Keep your bright colors, your reds and your blacks and stuff like that. Keep that to the back a little bit this year and wear that white. Obatala is the quality of Su'uru. That is the energy of Obatala. So work very hard. If you're a person who is highly emotive, like I am high strung too. Nobody knows that about me. Nobody has known that since I was maybe 4 or 5 because I wasn't raised in a family that allows all that acting out, right? So if you're a highly emotive person, let this be the year that you very much work on your su'uru. Very much cultivate your su'uru. This is what we're going to need this year, right? This is the energy that we're walking in this year. Now, Obatala is also the energy of higher heights. So you're going to feel yourself drawn towards very high ethical behavior. You may not have felt the urge to fast before this year, but you're going to feel it now. You may not have felt the urge to sit very deep in your spiritual practice and make sure that you didn't miss a prayer and that you didn't miss those holy days and that you didn't miss any sort of observance. But you're going to feel that this year if you haven't felt it before, because that is the energy of Obatala. You may realize in this year that you require more solitude than what you may have required in years past. And that might not be a problem for some of us because, these conditions that we living in. Sink into your solitude, though, as you need it. Do not allow yourself to become isolated, but sink into your solitude as you need it. Obatala requires a pure diet. Purity of diet. Okay? So make sure that what you are eating is real food, right? So you shouldn't be eating a bunch of processed shit. You shouldn't be eating a whole bunch of shit that was cooked by other people. You need to be trying to cook most of what you eating. And you should not be eating shit that you don't know what it is that you're putting in your system. Know what it is that you're putting in your system so that you will know what you have in your reactions to. Okay? Purity of diet is stress for children of Obatala. This will be a year when we don't want to lean too hard on our strong drink and on our herbal libations. Okay? Don't lean too hard on that. Obatala entreats us to stay in ourselves, to stay in our own personal mind, to stay in your ori and feel the feeling and learn the lesson. Obatala entreats us to do that. Do not use those mechanisms that allow you to disassociate. Right? So for some of us, it may be drinking. For some of us, it may be smoking. For some of us, like me, it's food and sugar. Right? So be careful of your addictions in this year, whatever they may be, whatever your thing is that you go to help you get over the hump. Obatala is asking that instead we experience the thing. Instead of reaching for something that let us get over the hump, experience the thing, right? We're not saying that none of that is bad or wrong. We're not looking at life like that, right? We're not looking at life in a European lens and saying that we're not doing this because it's bad. Let's take the word bad out, right? What we're saying is be careful of your coping mechanisms and make sure that you're not leaning on them too hard, right? Yes, Sister Cecile, that's mine too. Sugar, food, social media. Be careful you're not leaning into it too hard. I'm gonna tell you, my daughter, she's in here with us right now. Um, Told me to watch this thing. If she would put the title up, I want to say it's called The Social Experiment. Camila, can you put that title in here? Because I don't remember what it was. But anyway, she told me to watch this thing. It's a documentary. I love documentaries. If you see me watching TV, that's what I'm watching. But anyway, what it was explaining was the dangers of social media and what it is really programmed to do to our minds and what it's doing to our minds. I've experienced it happening to my mind. And the documentary was spoken of. They were interviewing the people who created the social media, so we know it was true. So what I would say is that what I did after watching the documentary was I took all social media off my phone and I only left it on my tablet. And since the tablet is heavy and big, I don't be feeling compelled to be on there just scrolling because it's too heavy. Okay? So that's it. Yeah, The Social Experiment is the name of the documentary. I want to say it's on Netflix. So my suggestion is that while Obatala is telling us to not overly consume food or not overly consume OT or strong drink and not overly consume marijuana or whatever our go-to herb is, I would also add social media to that, you know? And it didn't exist when the ancestors was cataloging the Odu. So it's not necessarily in the Odu, but it's the same type of thing. It is a mechanism that we use to keep us from feeling whatever it is we're trying to avoid feeling. So this year, let's sink in and feel the feeling, right? And with su'uru, we're going to feel it, we're going to process it, and then we're going to decide what the proper reaction is to it with su'uru, right? So let's do that. So that is the Obatala ruling this year. Remember that Obatala is a beautiful, calm, peaceful, loving Father. Right? That protective energy that we all want, that's what's going to be surrounding us this year. That wise energy that we wish could guide us, that's what's going to be protecting us this year. Yes, sister, if sex is one of your vices, it has been one of mine in the past, then yep, the same thing. And the movie is The Social Dilemma. Sorry, you guys. We were saying experiment, but it's actually The Dilemma. So the energy we're going to be surrounded by is the calm, protective, wise, guiding Father. Right? That's that Obatala energy. You've got it. He's got you. He's got your back, front, side to side. Right? Big Daddy's here. And he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's the Obatala energy. So I also don't want us to feel afraid. I also don't want us to feel alone. I also don't want us to feel as though nobody is taking care of us and protecting us, right? That Obatala energy is embracing us and hugging us. And most of what Obatala does is deflects negativity that is trying to take over us. So when we follow his directives, you will find that there's so much less negativity in your life. When you eat properly, when you work towards su'uru, when you make sure that you're not doing things just for the purpose of avoiding things, right? When you don't let your addictions keep you to avoiding those things that are important. When you do those things that Obatala asks you to do, then you'll find that the negativity is less because he protects us all from negativity. So that is Obatala. The last piece of Obatala is the creator Orisha in our pantheon. So be creative this year, right? Get you some clay and play in it, right? Write something, sing something, create some songs, create some dances, learn how to macrame, learn how to crochet. right? Look at these beautiful lamps and candles that my sisters have been making this year that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video. That's creative. This is a good year for us to let our creativity flow. Whatever it is that pulls you, learn how to do it. We are so blessed to live in a time when we can go on YouTube and learn how to do anything. That blows my mind. I remember the days when that was not possible, guys. So you can go and learn how to do anything. So teach yourself how to macrame. Teach yourself how to do makeup. All these things are creative. Teach yourself how to do stuff with your hair. All this stuff is creative. Teach yourself how to do your nails, you know. All of those things are creative. So Obatala also urges us to move into our creativity. All right, so he's the ruling Orisha of this year. All praises. And he is ruling with the assistance of Mother Oya. All right, Yansa. Now, this is an excellent balance because Obatala is a cool, calm, peaceful deity, and Oya is a fiery deity. She is a deity of fire and a warrior deity, the bringer of fire to human beings, the deity that taught us the uses of fire and what it was useful for. So what this means is that when we are confronted with situations that are conflicts or that are altercations, do not be afraid to handle them quickly and concisely. Right? Oya is that energy that levels it out. So when something needs to be cut off or leveled out, don't be afraid to do it. Right? Do not shy away from your own warrior side. Still within Su'uru. Still within Su'uru. Don't misunderstand and think that Oya was out here acting out as a Yoruba queen, as an Anago queen. That's not what was happening. But when something needed to be destroyed, she can quickly do it and then be on her merry way. Right? Her merry, calm, peaceful Su'uru way. So we have that wonderful Oya energy. Oya will bring us this year very close to our ancestors. Oya is the mother of Egungun. And what that means is she taught us how to continue to connect with those who have passed on. And she taught us the importance of doing so. So do not lose your connection with your ancestors. Maintain your connection with your ancestors. As the one on the physical plane, it is your responsibility to maintain the connection with those that done gone on. Right? We know this. This is hoodoo. This is our culture. So it's your responsibility to do that. Remember their birthdays. Remember their names. Have their pictures in your home. Share the stories of their lives with your children. Right? We are not to forget those who have gone before. The ruling Odu for this year is Odi. Odi says, that which made for the success of those who went before must be noted by those who come after. Do not forget your ancestors in this year of Oya. As Toya is saying, if you don't have an ancestral altar, make one, build one. Don't go another day without a place to honor your ancestors in your home. Teach your children the stories of the lives of your ancestors, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. The ancestors are the deity that is your physical connection to the spirit realm. They are your physical connection. So if you say that you are talking to Orisha and you have not first been completely inundated and immersed in your ancestors, then you ain't talking to Orisha. That ain't what you're doing. If you say that you are dealing with Orisha and making offering to Orisha and building shrines to Orisha, and you ain't built no shrine and dealt with and talked to your ancestors, then that ain't what you're doing. There's no way to get there. The only path to get to the Orisha is through your ancestors, because that is your connection. Shar, you can, I don't know if Toya allows people to inbox her. Toya, there's a sister, the comment right above what you just made, and she wants to know how to create her ancestral altar. Can you give her a method of getting in touch with you? I don't know if you do inboxes or whatever, But Toya, my goddaughter, is the best person I know for teaching that. So she can definitely help you. But your ancestors are your direct link. You're not touching anything else until you go through your ancestors. Okay? So don't play that game, and don't let nobody put you in a position where you play that game. Right? When you get your first divination, I'm going to tell you the Orisha that rules your head. And don't be thinking, let me just run on off and start dealing with this Orisha. You ain't dealing with nobody. You dealing with some other spirit. Because if you haven't dealt with your ancestors first, then ain't no doors to Orisha open to you. Okay? So Oya reminds us of the importance of always dealing with our ancestors first. See, this is what I thought was gonna happen. This the oil has started to burn itself, so I'm gonna take this wick out. So y'all give me a second. Yeah, I'm gonna just smother it. Okay. It's beautiful though. All right, so that is our Oya element. Stay in contact with your ancestors. Remain in contact with your ancestors. If you have the opportunity to go to the grave sites of your ancestors, please go. Please do not miss that opportunity. If you can take your children to the grave sites of your ancestors, please take your children to the grave sites of your ancestors, right? Make sure your children know from whence they came, right? When I take my son to the graves of my ancestors, and I can show him the great uncle that fought in the Civil War, that literally fought for the emancipation, for our emancipation, that gives him a certain kind of pride, that lets him know the kind of man that his lineage has given him the ability to be. So when your children know their ancestors, then they know themselves, and they can feel a pride and a love for themselves, right? If you got this nose that's shaped like mine, and if all you looking at is TV where people got little pointed noses, if ain't no pictures in your house of the grandmothers three generations back that all got this same nose, then you might hate this nose, right? You got this hair, and the pictures in your house are all of three and four generations back of people who got this hair, and you love this hair, even though you don't see it on the television, right? So it is essential to teach your children about your ancestors. When we forget and cease to say the names of our ancestors, we lose part of the ashe of our lineage. Okay? You lose a part of ashe. It moves into a place that is more difficult to reach. So say and speak the names of your ancestors. All right? And teach your children to do the same. If you pay homage to your ancestors, then your children will know to pay homage to you when you move on to the next realm. And your children paying homage to you is how you will still be able to help them and protect them and take care of them. If you do not invite your ancestors into your home, they can't get to you. You've locked off their ability to get to you. Okay? This is your plane. This is the material plane. Everything on this plane is made of matter. They exist in the ethereal plane. Everything on that plane is made of things not seen. They cannot get to you to help you if you don't open the door for them. So make sure that you've opened the door for your ancestors in this Oya year. If someone brings the fight to you in this Oya year, you didn't start it because you walking in Su'uru, but be the one that ended. Okay? Be the one that ended. All right? And that's that on that. Oya does not play those games. She is the mother of the cemetery. That's how bad she is. Right? So when they bring it to you, nip it in the bud. Quick, quiet, over, done. And ain't no point to talk about something after it's been nipped in the bud, after it's been taken care of. Right? Get in whatever state you need to get in and nip it in the bud, over, done. Move on. All right? For Obatala, let me go back a little bit. Good crystals for us to use this year, if you're a person that uses crystals, is your selenite and any other white stone. Selenite is my favorite, so that's why that's the one I'm always going to mention. For Oya, the good stone to use is, of course, your amethyst. All right? And I want to make sure that there's nothing that I have missed. So I will post later on today information about fasting that I use. And I will, I think that's all that I'm going to post. Toya has given you guys her email address that you can reach out to her to get information on how to set up your ancestral altar. She is a very adroit hoodoo saint, raised in the hoodoo tradition of the Gullah people. So, excellent resource on how to not only communicate with your ancestors, but to keep them present in your life and to make sure that you're doing it properly. I want us to, before we end, and I'm using your candles here, Tammy. Tammy is House of Armana that I spoke of. And she just said that her candles that I lit at the beginning, before we even knew, are charged with selenite and amethyst. So I told y'all to get your House of Armana astrology candles. And that has the crystals in it already that we need. And I do not endorse anybody who doesn't have a good positive energy. So I've met Tammy. She and I have done. Her color is purple. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Her color is purple, and maroon, and black, but mostly purple. I've met Tammy in person. Magnificent mother, creative woman, and powerful. The candles that she made, pure power. And they have the two crystals in them that we need. I want us to, as we move forward in this year, and seeing everything that it has to bring, let us remember who and what we are every day. Every day. Let us not forget on any day. Tammy, can you post a link to House of Armana, please? Or another way that they can get in touch with you? Thank you. Let us not forget on any day that we are the children of those who chose to survive. Right? Survival was a choice. Let us not ever belittle the methods that our ancestors used to create a magnificent life for us in this horrible place, in this hellish place. Let us not ever denigrate the paths and the ways of our ancestors. Let us always be proud to be the Africans on this side. We are the Africans on this side. Don't ever let anybody make you think anything otherwise. You do not require the validation of anyone else for your Africanness. Don't ever forget that. Be proud to be the Africans on this side. Be proud to speak of your culture and the way that we practice it on this side, in America, in the Caribbean, in the diaspora. Be proud of the way that we do it. Right? And do not let our way be lost. These things that we talked about today, this is our culture. Teach it to your children. Make sure that they know so they can teach it to their children. Right? It's essential. Don't let our way be lost. Our very specific way of doing it. Don't allow it to be lost. And like I said, okay, so we have our House of Armana link for those who want the candles. She will make it and create it specific to your sun and your rising and your moon sign if that is what you request. But her candles are astrologically based. Very powerful. Let's not forget our way ever. Let us not be ashamed of our way ever. Let us continue to always honor our ancestors with the way that we walk, with the way that we live. In Barbados, we say walk good, right? Be an honor to your Egum in how you walk. Remember that su'uru that your grandmother and your grandfather modeled for you. and live in that, work to live in that. Su'uru is a goal, but always be working towards that as your goal. Remember how our grandmothers kept our intestines clean. And now we going to keep our intestines clean too. We're going to make sure that our baby's intestines are clean. We know how to do this, right? We know how to not only survive, but to thrive in this place, right? All day long, every day. We watched our mothers and our fathers do it. We cannot ever be stamped out. If it was possible, we would not be here. Whatever oppression they brought up on us, whatever systematic, horrible, destructive system they brought up on us, we still here. And we looking damn good out here. And we achieving. And we got the highest possible degrees and the highest possible positions in this motherfucker. Right? We cannot be stamped out, but it is through your culture that you are given the food that you need to survive in this place. So never let your culture leave you. Never let your culture be shamed by someone else. And don't you ever shame it or feel ashamed of it yourself. And teach it to your children proudly. Speak of your heritage proudly all the time. Be exactly who you are, exactly who your mother and father raised you to be, and be that proudly. All right? Ecstasy, abundance, bliss, and all of the gifts of Oshun. To all of those within the sound of my voice who are wishing the same for me and mine. And as always, and we will watch it happen, the lessons of life on those who are ignorant enough to wish us otherwise. All right. I love y'all. Continue to be exactly who and what you are. Know that you are divine and that the path that you are walking is blessed. For somebody who just tuned in, I saw somebody saying that they just tuned in. It'll be up on the page, forever. I ain't gonna ever take it off the page. And for anybody else who needs to see it, once I put it up here as an upload, please feel free to send the link. If anybody needs a personal divination from me, my page is still the same, GotToBeOshun.org, GOT, the number 2, the letter B, OSHUN.org. And yeah, I love you guys. Please take care of yourself. We are going to make it through all of these obstacles. The Orisha have lovingly given us the tools to do so. And yeah, let's make it happen, y'all. Let's get it popping. All right. Peace.